Have you ever wondered why narcissists react differently when you stand up for yourself? If you've personally dealt with narcissistic behavior, you know how confusing and frustrating it can be when their responses don't meet your expectations. Whether it's at home or at work, understanding their patterns can help us handle our relationships with them more effectively. But here's where things get interesting. See, narcissists see those who stand up for themselves as too strong, and they consider them a threat. Why? These people radiate confidence and self-reliance, living independent lives unaffected by the narcissist's nonsense. They think, act, and feel for themselves, trusting their own judgment and staying true to their positive self-image. And they don't seek validation or approval from others to navigate life. Naturally, this isn't what narcissists want in a partner for their mind games. So, when you start asserting yourself, their behavior takes a different turn. If you're curious about how exactly they react to people they consider as too strong for them, then keep watching. We'll explore some of their common responses in this video. This way, you'll be able to address them and stand firm against their manipulations. Number 1. They'll discredit the progress you've made. Once the narcissist is triggered by your strength, they will go out of their way to bring you down. They'll take every chance to point out your mistakes, flaws, or perceived shortcomings, all in an attempt to stop you from feeling good about yourself. They'll even use your past mistakes against you, holding them over your head with a sick sense of satisfaction. No matter how far you've come or how much you've changed, they'll take great lengths to find anything they can to use against you. It's their way of undermining your self-worth and self-esteem. They love dwelling on the past and refuse to acknowledge your growth and progress. Not to mention they'll do it so that no one will cast a spotlight on you. Number 2. They'll see and treat you as their adversary. When dealing with a narcissist, if they sense that you have a greater personal power than they'd prefer, a few things tend to happen. But their specific reactions can vary, depending on the type of narcissist you're dealing with. For instance, a narcissist who's fragile and more covert might initially be drawn to your strength, courage, confidence, and power. But eventually, they'll feel triggered and threatened by these qualities. Once your strong nature starts highlighting their flaws, inadequacies, or lack of integrity and moral compass, those traits they initially came to admire become problematic for them. In their mind, you become their adversary. Suddenly, you're cast as the villain, while they conveniently assume the role of the victim. This victimhood narrative is typical when dealing with a covert narcissist. They constantly position themselves as the victim, even in situations they've not only created but also perpetuated. A more overt and grandiose narcissist will also be initially drawn to your strength and personal power. They might even find the challenge presented by your strong character to be quite captivating and irresistible. But guess what? Once they realize that you can't be easily dominated, swayed, deceived, manipulated, or controlled, that attraction will fade away. It's at that point when your strength and personal power become a huge issue for them. And this frustration might just give them the excuse they need to exhibit some retaliatory behavior, which, for them, is entirely justifiable. While a covert narcissist may try to hide their fear, jealousy, and insecurity, you can still really get under their skin without you knowing it. On the other hand, an overt narcissist can quickly go from acting all nice and friendly with you to showing their true colors, unable to hide their triggers or wounded ego as easily. Based on what we've seen, all narcissists are pretty sneaky and crafty. But when it comes to this particular aspect, covert narcissists really take their behavior and reactions to another level. Number 3, they'll try to ruin your reputation. Narcissists have this fundamental desire to always feel superior, in control, and dominant. So, when they can't control you, they start feeling threatened. And you know what they do? They go ahead and protect their false image in their own unique way. They'll manipulate how others see you, judge you, and even influence their opinions about you. It's like a preemptive strategy, you know? They'll discredit you, belittle you, and degrade you so people won't perceive you as strong. And guess what? This behavior can go on for a long time, even before you even realize that something's not right. Remember, narcissists are so deceptive. They just love to fabricate falsehoods and hide the truth, all without feeling a shred of guilt, shame, or remorse. And they're masters at putting on a front, acting like everything's peachy while they're tearing you apart behind your back. But here's the thing. This kind of behavior is not just limited to specific relationships. Narcissistic parents, siblings, spouses, relatives, friends, bosses, and ex-lovers all love engaging in this behavior on the regular. For instance, take the narcissistic parents who pull out all the stops to manipulate, dominate, and control their children. Oh, and those narcissistic in-laws? They can't wait to tarnish the reputation of any newcomers or outsiders in the family, because heaven forbid anyone sees them in a positive light, right? Speaking of narcissistic ex-lovers, if you find yourself moving on from one, our video about dating post-narcissistic relationships might come in handy. Number 4. They'll shift how they treat you. You know, a lot of people don't realize that narcissists aren't usually interested in going after those they see as having low social standing. So, if you ever find yourself being targeted by a destructive narcissist, it's probably because you possess qualities that they actually find admirable. Perhaps you radiate positivity and have such a deep sense of empathy and kindness, which they lack. Plus, you've likely achieved some pretty impressive personal and intellectual accomplishments. By being associated with you, they feel like their image is elevated and they look good, which initially appeals to their vanity, you know? In essence, you embody everything that the narcissist lacks. Your strength, personal power, and dynamic attributes are undeniably attractive to them at first. But here's the thing. Narcissists, as we mentioned earlier, just can't help but assert dominance over others. They're obsessed with maintaining a facade of superiority, even if it's completely detached from their reality. So, it's only a matter of time before your strength becomes a big problem for them, especially for a destructive narcissist. Depending on the situation, you might notice it right away, or slowly realize that it's causing issues in your relationship with them. But believe us when we say that when that shift happens, you won't be able to miss it. By the way, make sure to subscribe if you've learned something new today. Number 5. They'll do whatever it takes to make you doubt yourself. You know, the thing about narcissists is that they get a kick out of pinpointing your vulnerabilities. They do it on purpose, just to make you doubt yourself, question your worth, and second-guess your abilities. It's because they're trying to fabricate and magnify feelings of guilt, shame, fear, inadequacy, and insecurity within you, all to keep their control over you and make you feel inferior. But guess what? All this nonsensical behavior stems from their own buried feelings of inferiority. We know it's hard to wrap your head around the fact that people can be so cruel just because they're scared, insecure, and triggered unless you've experienced this emotional and psychological abuse firsthand. But that's the reality with narcissists. Number 6. They'll try to regain the position of dominance they think they had over you. It's important to keep in mind that individuals with narcissistic tendencies are all about seeking dominance and control over others. Their main focus is getting what they want and having their needs met. But when things don't go their way or they lose control, it's time to be cautious. When they realize they're not in control, no longer comply with their demands, or unintentionally outshine them, their ego takes a hit, and they can go to great lengths to prove to themselves that they're superior to you. But here's the thing, it's really not about you at all. It's their own personal issue, not yours. So, the good news is that you actually have the power to do something about it. You can protect yourself and outsmart a narcissist who thinks you're just too strong for their liking. First things first, it's important to prioritize distancing yourself from the narcissist as much as possible. This means cutting off your connection with them. Think of it as removing their source of narcissistic supply. Ideally, you want to completely cut ties with a narcissist. That means having no contact at all with them and burning all the bridges that'll allow them to get in touch with you. But if that's challenging, or even impossible, at least try to adopt an unresponsive stance. Your goal here is to minimize your engagement in the toxic dynamic you have with them. Then, once you've achieved a state of low or no contact, it's time to focus on your healing. Take some time for self-care, dedicating yourself to personal growth and recovery. This way, you can regain your power and rebuild your self-confidence. But you can also use this time to break the subconscious cycle or patterns that make you attract such perpetrators into your life, especially if it's not your first time dealing with a narcissist. Lastly, let's talk about setting boundaries. Learning the art of setting boundaries effectively is a vital life skill that many of us were never taught. But for someone who's had to deal with a narcissist, it becomes even more crucial. Setting your boundaries is one effective way to safeguard your mental health and overall well-being. If you're unsure or lacking confidence in establishing healthy limits that protect your quality of life, don't worry. It's never too late for you to acquire this valuable skill. And if you liked this video, then check out these related videos to see more. And make sure to subscribe and leave a comment saying, "I subscribed," and we will personally reply to your comment.